Can we like leave the gas stations out?
The gas station. Sorry.
think
Shout out
I-
to my
I don't
mom.
think-
She's the one that picked this bottle up more because the label is beautiful. And it really is a beautiful label if you want to look at it. But yeah, it was the gas station.
We need to be encouraging our viewers not to shop at the gas station.
Well, hey everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Talk Sip Time. We're chasing K with refined and reserved experiences. This is both No Label Wine Company, and every week we bring the bottles, break them down, and give you our honest take on them. Let's get into it.
So this week we're actually doing a horizontal tasting of Nickel and Nickel. These are two wines from the same winery, but different vineyards. But they're both 2022. So the first one that we have is John C. Sullenger, and he is actually not the winemaker. He is basically who bought the property back in the 1800s. He actually had a very successful winery back in Napa during that time, and he actually closed down during Prohibition because nobody was buying alcohol. But anyway, the Floreniente family actually bought this plot of land and put a winery on it, and their claim to fame, Nickel and Nickel's claim to fame, is single vineyard wines. They only make wines with single vineyards. They do no blends, no mixes, anything like that. So the first one is the John C. Sullenger. The boys have tried it. What do y'all think?
You can taste the terroir. You can taste. We haven't covered where
Not
it
yet,
is.
no.
So the vineyard is adjacent to the actual winery, which means that it is on the valley floor. It's dead center of the valley, so it has that loamy kind of soil. It has cooler temperatures as opposed to further north or higher elevations. So you get a lot more of the moist soil kind of.
I would say it's hot.
I mean,
You
it's a 2022,
Yeah, I think probably both of these wines are going to be hot.
which is why we have the pairings today to help cut that a little bit.
I guess the biggest thing with this AVA and in Napa Valley, it's just kind of basically they broke it up into 16 regions of where these grapes grow is the different, it all has to do with the level of elevation, the soil, all those things. But this AVA in particular, they call Oakville, which is also called the heart of Napa. But it's really good for retaining water. And I think this is probably their largest producing. You can pretty much get this in any Total Wine mass produced. Actually, the first time I ever tried this wine, we got it from Buc-ee's, which if you're not familiar with Buc-ee's, it's a gas station in Texas and it's huge. But anyway, that's the first time I ever tried this
We're
wine.
gonna give
and
Paul a heart
then,
attack with the gas station.
yeah,
wine.
it kind of, you know.
Well, I mean, that's funny because you don't hear of many gas station wines selling single vineyard
No.
wines.
Right.
If you don't know what Buc-ee's is, you need to Google it because it is very, very American, but also just has a ton of different options. It's not just what you think of as a classic gas station. I would say that.
So another thing I want to say tonight isn't just about cab. It's about
Terroir.
taking every process and making it equal, but grabbing the grapes from two different terroirs.
Right. This is the
Makes
same.
it makes the terroir scream more than anything out of the glass to show expression. You could do every other process that's still all the same,
hmm
but if the terroir is different,
Yeah.
I have a couple of different notes and stuff to go over later, but I want to hear what you have to say, Jake.
This is the same grape varietal, the same winemaker, the same winery.
Mhm.
They're going through the same vats. Every step of this process, is the same. The only difference, and we're going to taste the difference, y'all already have, is where these grapes were grown.
So can I say what I think? I think this is, well, you said it earlier, but that was the valley floor, but I could tell the difference.
You can tell the higher elevation.
Yeah.
And the higher elevation, it's called Bear Track. It's actually because there was a bunch of black bears kind of in that tract actually, and it's kind of hilly, cliffy. It's kind of known for a volcanic rock. So you definitely see more, I would say, minerality,
Mhm.
and you kind of get those different terroir notes, but it's definitely very, I would say, earthy comparatively. This is more, I get more of the fruit on the Sullenger,
Mhm.
and I get more of the earthy tones
This is
on the
more
Bear Track.
forest floor. This is more kind of gravelly. That's what
I
I
would
find.
say this is a bit more powerful, as this is to a bit more finesse.
Yes, which is a little bit more what we're used to in the wines that we drink every day. And that I think comes from the higher elevation.
Well, it comes from a combination of things. This is a good point to pick out. So the terroir is a combination of soil, climate, the elevation, the sun exposure, of course, drainage, wind, water availability, and microclimates. Because you can have microclimates as you start to change elevation. Say you're at a slope, well, one part of your vineyard could be at a different altitude as the corresponding rest of that vineyard towards the bottom. So, what I mean whenever I say that all of those things tie in to add something, it influences the berry size, skin thickness, the sugar accumulation, the acid retention, tan, oh, tannin development. So those are all things that build wine. And that's why you can see a true difference in between the wines.
Now, this one I find is a little bit more tannic because where it's at, it has a lot more growing pressure on the vines. So it produces smaller, more concentrated,
Thicker skins.
thicker skin fruit, which is going to give you more tannin, which is going to give you a little bit more concentrated uh, flavor. And guys, we kind of glossed over it, but we do have basically a steak dinner kind
I
of
didn't make it
pairing.
this time, actually.
I made it. Uh,
It's very good.
but it's because we know these are young Napa cabs. We talked about it in a few episodes a while back. Some wines need food, and I firmly believe that if you are drinking a very young Napa cab, it's gonna need the fat of a ribeye or the fat from the twice baked potato to kind of cut it. And me and Bo kind of looked at each other earlier after we did it. It changes the wine. It makes it a lot more like I can't sit here and just drink this by itself. It needs something to kind of tone it down a little bit, just because it's young and it's ripping and roaring right now. It hasn't had time to settle out.
But once you strip that tannin, like that hard tannin aspect, you
That
can
heat.
see the elegance.
Yes. So
In the wine.
it's a well-made wine. I think both of these are very well-made wines. Especially, I love this one. I've loved this one since the first
Bear
time I
Track.
tasted it. Yes.
Yeah. My goal is to keep this in the cellar for 10 years.
Yeah.
And try it again in 10 years.
Which I know you have a little fun fact about that, about the winery, about their they don't have a library.
They don't. They have a very minimal library. They have some John C. Sullengers and some other areas that I'm not really sure of. But their current releases, they're just current releases. So I'm making my own cellared nickel and nickel.
Our own
Hopefully
library.
have a, just a older nickel and nickel, because I think these wines are beautiful. I think their structure is beautiful. I think in a couple of years, it's going to be something that, the tannins are going to loosen. I think it's going to be just beautiful. So I want to see that. So we're actually members of Nickel and Nickel, so we will be getting a lot of wines this year to hopefully cellar. Another one of our favorite ones is kind of a step up from these two, is called Element 28. And science fact of the day, if you don't know what Element 28 on the periodic table, it's nickel. So Nickel and Nickel, Element 28.
Yeah.
But it's a good one too. And it's kind of around, it's closer to Bear Track than it is John C. Sullenger. It's not in Howe Mountain District, but it's closer.
Yeah. So.
Oh, I see it.
And for those that are wondering, we do have a map of where all of Nickel and Nickel's vineyards are. We'll post that picture on the podcast so you can see. But going into that, can you talk a little bit about terroir. And this is not just a Napa thing. This is
Well,
worldwide.
well, I have my next part that I have written down is soil impact.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what we're talking about. This is where the true expression
Mm-hmm. Of these two you're
terroir.
talking about, or of
No,
terroir period?
just of terroir period.
Okay.
So I did rocky and well-drained soils first. They produce smaller berries, heavier skin to juice ratio. So,
Higher
smaller,
tannin.
yeah,
Mhm.
they carry more tannin. Why?
Because
Because
the
Because the skins are thicker.
skin is the seed. The skin
yeah,
is where skin and seed is where the tannin comes from.
Mhm.
but it's also more, there's more concentration and there's a darker fruit profile.
It has to
But
be a more like resistant grape essentially
yeah,
to grow in that climate.
The best.
yes, those are more likely to be found in very hot climate areas, lots of sun exposure.
Yeah.
I've always heard, just from the tastings that we've been through and hearing from people that make the wine and all that, that you don't want a vine to have an easy life during the growing cycle.
Yeah.
You want to stress it out, because when that happens, you get these smaller berries that are high tannin, higher acidity, and you're able to make a better wine out of it. If you just give a vine all the water that it wants and all that and just make it easy, then you end up with a bad crop, because we know that when it's a wet year, typically it's not a great year for the wines. We were looking for birthday bottles a while back.
Mhm.
Our birth year was not a great year for wines anywhere. Everybody had a wet year that year.
Yeah. Um,
So it kind of dilutes
and then another
the
thing is you
wine.
can't have it too hot during different stages of the grape growing process. I mean, that's a huge thing, but um, oddly enough, 2022 is an off vintage. And what I mean by that, it just wasn't the best year for Napa. And you can go and there's a bunch of sites that you can look at and say, was this a good year for Napa Valley, Bordeaux, all the areas that we're talking about? But what happened in particular with 2022 is they had a great winter. There was watering exactly like it needed to. And then on Labor Day weekend, they hit a spike in temperature and it got up to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. And that really affects the grapes, especially in that area right before harvest. So this isn't off vintage, but these are still beautiful wines. And that attributes to the winemaker. The winemaker doesn't always have an easy job. If they have beautiful fruit, the perfect thing, they can do whatever they want with it. Whenever they have a off vintage like we're talking about, they really have to make changes and adjustments to produce a great product. And this is a great product.
Mm-hmm.
I would take this anytime with a steak night. There's a few other things I would pair this with as well. Maybe a braised short rib. I think that'd be beautiful with that. An herb crusted lamb. And if for a non-meatier option, maybe a mushroom risotto. I think it would be great. The mushroom and anything.
Earthy.
Yeah. And if you look at some of the tasting notes, I would say Chase did use some rosemary to prepare our steaks tonight.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the winemaker's notes sometimes and it says rosemary and playing with those herbs, I think you can get a lot of things. If you want to put some rosemary in the wild mushroom risotto, I think it would complement this so well. So sometimes the herbs that the wine picks up is an easy pairing.
Yeah.
And I mean, if we just want to sit here with a cheese board, I would say you need to call it a strong cheese, like maybe a Manchego or a Stilton. Something salty.
Aged.
Yeah.
I almost picked up a Gouda, aged
Oh
Gouda
my
for today.
gosh, I love Gouda. Good night.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
But it's just, I remember me being new to the wine world and stepping outside of my comfort zone and going to Nickel and Nickel and sitting through. They do a whole tasting on its single vineyards, and you see the whole range of the valley. You see from the West Coast, which is more the ocean floor from billions of years ago, soil, to the east side of the valley, which is the volcanic side, and then you try the lower elevations, the higher elevations, and you really start to see, because this is single varietal, single vineyard, how much difference terroir makes.
Yeah.
And there's other regions around the world where terroir plays a big part. One of those being one that Bo introduced us to, Rhone and Burgundy, both are very terroir dependent.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Which is why the first thing that you see on some of those bottles is where they're from.
Sorry, Kay, I'm drinking all of your wine.
You're good.
Where they're from and not.
So you're pouring the John C. Sullenger? Yeah.
That's surprising to me.
Me too. I thought you'd have poured the
I'm
other
the
one.
only one that's been pouring out of it. Look at the
You're the only
difference.
one that's been pouring, period. We're still.
I know.
But,
Well, I don't know. I like the way that this is pairing with my steak the way that I want it to. It's still holding some of that old,
yeah.
or maybe
That-
not
That
old.
kind of earthy feeling.
Yeah.
So I guess that you're kind of playing to my argument. So I really want to keep this one for 10 years in my wine fridge. And I think this one's an okay bottle to open up now
To
and
be
enjoy
fair,
with a steak.
That
in it.
is one that is sold at Total Wine. They don't sell many of their wines outside of the winery, but they sell that one at like Buc-ee's and Total Wine and places like that.
Wait,
But-
can we like leave the gas stations out?
The gas station. Sorry.
We're
Shout out to my
I don't
mom.
think-
She's
yeah.
the one that picked this bottle up more because the label is beautiful. And it really is a beautiful label if you want to look at it. But yeah, it was a gas station wine again.
I know.
But so
We
this-
need to be encouraging our viewers not to shop at the gas station.
well, not everywhere in the world can you get wine
Yeah.
at a gas station.
Yeah, I feel like
So
that's a very
that-
South Louisiana thing.
okay,
That's
okay.
Yeah.
And
you do have a
not
good
even
point.
North
You do have a
Louisiana
good point.
thing.
I've been to some gas stations that have had some really decent picks, whether they knew it or not.
Yeah.
But
That means
But
they
no.
got someone good tasting for them.
yeah.
Yeah.
This one, so the John C. Sullenger in the 2023 vintage, which I'm not sure it's been released yet, but I do know that it has a 99-point rating from James Suckling.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Okay.
it apparently they did really good. 2023 apparently was a really good vintage for
Yeah.
Napa.
That was across the board. Whenever we went
Yeah.
taste in Napa this previous year, they were in harvest, and they're like, 2023 is going to be a great year.
We're kind of
So,
stockpiling
we'll be excited.
2023s right now to
Yeah.
For future.
to cellar them but I think with that we'll take a little break and we'll be right back, guys. See you in a little bit. Hey guys, we want to take a quick second to thank y'all for listening to Home Wines. Every like, comment, and subscription genuinely helps us keep opening and showcasing these incredible wines. Everything we do here at Talk Sip Time is about introducing y'all to great wine in a way that feels approachable and fun and not intimidating. As we continue to grow, we're excited to keep bringing you these new bottles, new regions, and new experiences every week. So if there's a bottle, region, varietal, or pairing you'd like to see us explore, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop your suggestion in the comments. We'll do our best to feature it on a future episode. Thanks. Hey everyone, and welcome back. We just got back from break, had a little conversation about what we're gonna teach y'all next. Kay, you lead us off.
So I'm going to go back to Nickel and Nickel just as the winery itself. I have visited this winery every single time I've actually gone to Napa because I think the concept is just so interesting. There's not many wineries in Napa that do single vineyards. I know they're not the only ones, but I know they're not, there's not many of them. The really cool thing is whenever you go through the tasting room, you get to see, all the wine containers that have the wines and they're just kind of sitting and depending on what time you go, there's different processes happening. But one of the coolest things is it's this very little room before you go down in the barrel
Cellar.
room, and they just have their soil types, and it goes from the top of where, and it goes all the way down the valley.
It
And
goes
it's-
from here to here.
Yeah, basically.
Actually.
And it's so cool because you get to see and understand that the soil plays such a difference. And the way they do their tasting is they go from up and down the valley. So you can kind of taste side by side to see the terroir difference. And that's kind of what we're honing in on in this horizontal tasting, is just how much a terroir can really affect the wine. And, it's the grapes, really. It's not the wine. The winemaker's the same. The winery's the same. They're different vineyards, which makes the hugest thing. And that's all terroir and different elevations and all that goes into that. Napa Valley, for the most part, it gets the same weather across, give or take, a little bit. But I think that's the biggest thing that's highlighted highlighted on Nickel and Nickel is just how much the different terroirs, that's their biggest focus. I don't think they're a second label to Forniente. I think it's just a different
It's just
concept.
a sister.
Yeah. But their quality is probably just as much as Forniente, I would say. But it's really an interesting concept. So if you have the chance, I would definitely visit Nickel and Nickel.
But like the whole concept behind single vineyards in general is single varietal single vineyards is they're not trying to show off Cabernet Sauvignon.
Mm-mm.
They're trying to show off basically the dirt, like
Yeah.
where this wine came from, and you can see it in both of these.
Mhm.
I don't know how else to put that other than like it's just these are two different. We talked about different expressions of grapes last week of varietals.
Mhm.
These are two different expressions of terroir. It's the same grape, the same process, the same winemaking, everything. It's just a little bit different. I see Bo digging into the map over there. What you got?
So what do the stars correspond to on the single vineyards?
So those stars are actually where Nickel and Nickel is located. This, I want to say, is Bella Union. This might be Forniente. So those are all the
I was about to say it
The
looks
their
like
sister
sister
wineries.
property.
yeah, about to say it looks like Forniente with the crest.
Mm-hmm.
But another question or another thing that I noticed as well, the map highlights the actual usage of land from a oversight perspective, and you can see how Bear Track is basically just like this
A
little square.
Tiny little vineyard.
Yeah, it's just a little square, but even whenever you look at the other one that we're talking about,
The Sullenger.
yeah,
It's a bigger track.
yes, but
Um,
not by very much.
That's
Yeah.
also the
It's
one that
just in a
surrounds.
different, yeah, it's
That's
just
the one
in a
that
different
surrounds the
cutout.
winery.
and I will tell, like, I know for sure this is mass produced, the John Z. Sullenger. It's more available. So they do get more, whether that's due to the fact that the land plot is not maybe they're similar sizes, but the grape quality, they don't have to trim as much and there's not as many, faults in those said grapes. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I do know, all of that plays into the single vineyard varietals. It just depends on where these come from and how much they have of these plots of land. That's the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
You see that anywhere in Napa Valley. Whether Stag's
Everywhere,
Leap
really.
District is a big thing. Yeah, even Bordeaux too. But it just depends how much they have of certain wines. That's why the price goes up with some
Mm-hmm.
specific districts because they have a smaller amount. If they have a, kind of, what is it called?
They get picky.
Yeah.
They get picked. When you're doing single vineyard like this, and then you're doing single vineyard and they're doing well with all of them, you can pick and choose what grapes from that vineyard you want to put in the wine. And then everything else, because they're a sister company, ends up getting blended.
So, yeah.
Through whether it be the lesser grapes go to Post and Beam in this scenario. The lesser grapes go to Post and Beam.
There's Bella Union.
The select ones go to Forniente, and whatever is in the middle and kind of falls off goes to Bella Union. Whereas Nickel and Nickel is strictly single vineyard.
vineyards.
And we've talked about some of the Duckhorn wines that are single vineyards. We've talked about Cake Bread that was single vineyard. A few of them do it.
Mhm.
This is the only place that just strictly does single vineyard wines. Single vineyard, single varietal. They don't make anything that's a blend. They don't have any Merlot in any of their Cab blends. They don't have anything else in any. They have 2 Chardonnays maybe.
Yeah, they do have a Chardonnay.
Grand Sky Vineyard and True Chard Vineyard. They have 2 Chardonnays. Those are single vineyard, single varietal. It's just really neat. And if you've never been to a wine tasting, this is one that I believe everyone should go to just for educational purposes.
And their quality of wine is great too.
That too. Yeah.
But the educational purpose and they focus on the terroir. I think each place you're going to visit focuses on a different thing, but this one is so terroir focused and so it is the soil that you're looking at. It is the grapes. It is all of those things. But it also is impressive to me that there's one winemaker, or there's probably a few, but for the most part, they make an impressive product given all the regions that they're in, and they're so different. And they only have, hey, this is your batch of grapes to make the wine with. It's not, hey, I'm going to pull a little bit from here because this was softer. Nope, you got one, vineyard to make that grape from,
I wouldn't want to be
or wine from.
I wouldn't want to be the winemaker at Nickel and Nickel.
I feel like it would be difficult.
Yeah, they just have to deal with what they have. They can't blend to make it better or worse.
So do y'all think that they're using more than one? Because
More than one what?
I've tried to count like just as separate vineyard sites that they have, and it's like over 20.
No, they have 20 different wines.
They really do.
Like it's
like
and
we're
like
members and we can go through any of them.
But each one seems like it corresponds to something. So Element 28 sounds like their high end version. Bear Track is in a high altitude setting.
Mm-hmm.
Fog Break,
I see what you're saying.
I would be awfully interested to try.
Fog Break is extremely high elevation. It's
Mm-hmm.
above the fog line on the mountain.
Yeah. So sometimes what I'm trying to get at is
they're trying to express a different terroir.
But sometimes the name corresponds with some of the qualities that you may experience in the wine. If you can understand enough about wine, you'll be able to pick that out by just reading and looking at the map overall.
So if you look at I'm pulling up our tasting that we actually had back in February. We tried Bear Track. We tried Pellet Vineyards, which is more towards John C. Sullenger.
That's in St. Helena.
That's on the west side of
Then
the valley, I believe.
Look at the.
I don't have the map.
Look at the vineyard size.
Yeah. Then we had Quicksilver.
It's almost like creme de la creme at that point.
Yeah. Quicksilver is like right next door. Like you could probably walk to it. It looks like from John C. Sullenger. We had Air Show, which is.
I kind of want to try that one.
And then Vaca Vista, which is a little bit lower, more towards
the city of Napa.
No.
Yeah, it's right outside of Stag Leap.
And we're definitely going to post this map for y'all just to kind of give y'all an idea of Napa Valley.
Yeah, and what we're truly looking at, because I've been studying this for the past couple minutes, so sorry if I'm not talking or anything, but...
No, you're good. I'm going to put it up
understand.
When we first start talking about this. I'm going to put it up on the actual podcast video, but I think when we post to say that the podcast is released, we'll put this actual map as one of the images. But it's so much more than just them that, I haven't even dug into it yet. But again, like I said earlier, Rhone and Burgundy, it's so terroir dependent. I found this was a good way for me to jump into understanding that side of it.
I agree.
Because you're not going to go to a place over there, not without spending a lot of money, to get the breakdown of this terroir has this, and this.
Their structures resembles kind of a bit like this because the sites are broke down into names.
Right.
But then the prestige level is ranked in a different way.
Yeah.
So we lose single vineyard and stuff like that, and then we turn into Premier Cru, Grand Cru.
Yeah.
It's a whole different way to read a wine label.
Well, Napa Valley doesn't have anything similar to that. I mean, we have point rankings. I feel like that, you can rate certain wines, but that's about the only thing that they have, and it's different every year. It's not, it's not. I don't know what president would have ranked wine, but they didn't. So we don't have that classification,
Yeah.
King Louis.
Yeah, that 1855 classification. If I'm not wrong, that's the year.
You're right.
That changed.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, it changed wine forever. Nickel and Nickel. I mean, I've always heard about it, and I wanted to always try it. So to get to try it now, I understand what it's like.
Mm-hmm. The only issue I have with it is there's no library. So everything you get, you have to be. It's almost like,
Hey, welcome
yeah,
to the wine world.
I know,
Yeah.
Everything comes to an end.
and we're impatient. That's why during our break, I was sitting there dealing with an auction to find some aged Bordeaux's. But it's you have to either find somewhere that has held it with good provenance to taste what we're tasting this as a 4-year-old. Like it's a baby. This can maybe go 15, 20 years.
But you
So,
did give it the time open.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
we're at 5 hours
I mean,
and
yeah.
it has
not
expressed a lot.
expressing nothing
I
different.
mean, Vivino says our
You don't
drinking
think? I think it's a little bit different than when we first tasted it.
Vivino said our drinking window is up till 2033. So we
Yeah,
have
so that's
a
another.
Oh yeah,
lot
you
of
still
time.
have
Or
time.
32. I'm sorry, but
I would say the tannins are getting softer. Yeah.
mhm.
Hmm.
The red fruit is becoming more prominent.
And
Still,
which one? Both?
ooh, pardon me. Um, no, I'm
The
talking.
Sullenger?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm talking about the Sullenger.
I'm surprised you haven't
This
gone to the Bear Track. I really thought you'd like the Bear Track
I
more.
really,
I do like volcanic soil.
I think you're
Um,
gonna like that in a couple of years. That's my take on that.
so I've tried an Edna not too
Yeah,
long ago,
yeah. I think
and
we were there for that.
I like that. You know, that's true volcanic soil. But this is just
Hot.
well, no, it's concentrated.
Yeah,
It's more full. It's
Hmm.
more rich, I would almost say.
yeah. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
But that also
And not rich in sugar, just
right.
rich in flavor.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and I think that's you're seeing the small berries in that. It's it's
That's the
more concentrated
concentration. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
concentration that
because
applies that.
and that may not necessarily be the terroir, that might not be the volcanic soil, but that is the growing conditions that it's under. This vineyard has a lot of exposure.
Wait,
What?
y'all didn't tell me that we were drinking from Oakville.
Oakville is
Hmm.
the John C. Sullinger.
Yeah.
Yep.
You like Oakville or you don't like?
No, I mean, this is
So
now,
Kellogg,
okay,
not Kellogg.
can you feel the difference whenever you smell
Yeah,
them
Hmm.
in warm
this
climate to cold climate?
Yep.
yeah.
Because I've been trying to work on if I can differentiate if it's cold or warm climate
This one,
by
oh,
smell.
this one, this is gonna sound so bad to the people that are gonna make fun of us for being pretentious, but like this smells like I don't want to say warmer, but thicker. Like
I can smell
think,
the alcohol
well,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, I can smell
in
that.
the oak in the Oakville.
this
I
smells
smell
like a
like,
little thinner, like kind of
but I get more fruit forward. If like I
yeah. With
smell
this,
blackberry,
yeah,
dark fruit. That's like the first note
this
I
is
get.
more the earth.
This, if I would go smell a red rock, that's what I feel like I'm smelling. And I mean that in like the weirdest way, probably, but I feel like it's very
She likes rocks.
rocky.
She likes rocks.
I don't know how to explain that. And that's probably not the right word, but that's what I feel like. If I would look at a red rock and smell it, this is what it would smell like.
That's fair. I'll give you that.
It's very minerally,
Yeah,
almost gravelly. But I think it's that volcanic soil that I'm, getting off of that from the grape.
but
Am I wrong about that?
I don't think so. Because elevation does produce a lot of difference.
but this is a fun fact that like we haven't brought up. So again, we've been to Napa. You've heard that several times. Uh, but it helped us when we were able to look at the maps that we were given at each of these tastings And it was no coincidence that most of the wines that we liked came from the same areas on the map. Like if you overlaid each of the maps, there was definitely a hot spot for where the wines that we liked were. So if you can go and do that, or you don't have to go and do that, you can just buy wines, see where they come from, and overlay that map and see. Like we prefer the northeast side of the mountain. Excuse me, like the hotter during the day, cooler at night, volcanic soil, higher altitude. We tend to prefer those wines without even knowing where they come from first.
Yeah.
See, that's I can agree with that because looking at the map, you gotta remember I don't have a previous knowledge of California, but what have I always told y'all? What is the one place that I found I can drink a California from?
Oakville. Was it Oakville?
No, high altitude.
Oh,
Howell
yeah.
Mountain? Okay. Yeah, and Howell Mountain's a great one. Like we like a lot from Howell Mountain.
I can't wait until we get to
Bear
open.
Track comes right outside.
Right around there. Yeah.
Wait till
Yeah.
we get to open the Dancing Bear. That does have some age on it, and it's from Howell Mountain.
So that's also a cake bread wine. We talk about cake bread every single
episode.
Love that winery. But it's interesting. So Bear Track and Dancing Bear
Are not related.
they're
at all.
not related, but it's because of the wildlife in that area. There was a bunch of black bears there, and actually at Cake Bread they have a video of it, and it's these bears dancing to get around the grapes, trying to get out of the barricade that they have.
Fence.
But it was
To keep the
interesting.
bears
So
out.
that's named Dancing Bear. This is Bear Track. They're very similar. They're very close. I'm going to say that. And where they grow their grapes. But I just think it's interesting to see, different terroirs. And I think the more we break down and kind of go and see the different terroirs here, Bordeaux, even like, I'm almost a very, very novice of Italian wines and looking at those and just understanding the differences between these regions. I really think you can find something that you like. And, I really liked one of the districts called Stag's Leap, and that's not around Howell Mountain. It's more
southeast.
Yeah. But I will say I loved it. I ended up, we bought a bottle from Duckhorn of Stag's Leap district. There's two really, really famous wineries, Stag's Leap and then another Stag's Leap, which gets confusing. We'll talk about that later. I ended up going to the wrong one.
There's also Chimney Rock,
Chimney Rock is only in the Stag's Leap district. And I love Chimney Rock. I tried it. And honestly, whenever we booked the tasting, I knew I liked Chimney Rock, so I figured I would enjoy it. But I did not realize that all of their grapes come from the Stag's Leap district.
The same terroir. Different terroir, but the same appellation.
But whenever you realize what area you like, it makes picking wine a little less daunting. And you're going to know you enjoy it, which is huge.
And that's another thing. If you have questions, don't be scared to DM us, to comment. We've got a sommelier here that is great at sourcing wine and telling you what he thinks you'll like.
Yeah.
And we've got two lesser people that just like wine, and we can probably lead you in the right direction. But
well, and I know somebody reached out and they were from France and they were like, "Hey, how does Napa Cab compare to Bordeaux?" And I was like, "You need to watch our episode number 1, but I can give you the key differences to make you understand, because probably he's mostly tried Bordeaux wines, I would assume,
Right.
But he's never tried a Napa Cab, and so it's having those conversations, just asking the right questions, and just being open to,
And this seems to be a common
exploring.
theme that we talk about every week of just be open.
Yeah.
Be open about what you like, what you don't like, and you can find it. It's out there.
Yeah. And I mean, look, you don't have to go as in depth as me as you want to, but Bo actually gifted me a wine tasting journal. And I have been so religious. Every single wine I'm tasting lately, I even stamp the cork. I write about it. I write the tasting notes, the alcohol, all these different things. And I write my tasting and my rating. So I think that plays a huge role in starting to realize, hey, I really like this wine. And I also really like this one. What do they have in common? Is it a note? Is it the area they're from? Those types of things. So it's very helpful to write it down. Sometimes I'm better whenever I write it down, I see it and I can go back to it. Chase has a memory like an elephant. He's going to remember the sip he tasted 6 weeks ago. I'm not that great at doing that, but I can tell you, if I write it down, I'm going to have those notes. And it can be as simple as notes in your phone too. Or, I scan every bottle I drink in the Vivino app to where I can go back and refer back. Have I had this wine? Have I had something similar? So I think all of that's helpful whenever you're kind of learning where you want to like and try different terroirs, different areas, different regions of the world even. All of those things kind of play a role in that.
Okay, so since you said Vivino, I'm gonna get on my phone and I'm going to tell y'all my stats
Oh,
Oh,
God.
dear.
because
Don't make us all feel bad.
I did the same thing.
Well, she got the idea from you. She got the wine journal from you.
Yeah. I'm not going to go over my stats because I'm going to embarrass myself. But
Whenever I started with the company that I work for, I knew I wanted to have a backlog.
Yeah.
Digital footprint obviously now never goes away.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that. Because in my summary, it says my favorite style of wine is sparkling.
That doesn't surprise me as much as most people would think it does.
Yeah.
But he also brought us a Blanc de Blanc to store for him
Yeah.
in the cellar. So
Yeah, very
yeah,
very
that's
special bottle to me.
yeah.
But so just in the styles that
Mhm.
I've tried 241 styles out of 747 styles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not gonna get on our stats.
But the crazy part is like Bo's been logging this for how long now?
Just 2 years.
And y'all,
But how many
if y'all
tastings
would
did you
have the
do?
text messages from Bo that we get on a random Wednesday, it's like, listen what I'm trying. It is crazy stuff. So like, you realize like you'll never get to the end of this. I mean, we're going to do our darndest to try to, but it just, you're never going to end with no opportunities to try something new. You know what I mean?
No, especially with the access of knowledge that I have and that y'all are
We're
now
gaining.
gaining. It makes it so much funner because now it's not only me bringing everything to the table. Like speaking towards whenever I go like back home.
Mhm.
I don't drink a lot of wine back home
Well, I got made
because
fun
it's
of
hard.
for drinking wine instead of my typical Coors Light. So we understand. This
So
isn't for everybody.
even though I've, tried so many wines, I've only tried 357 regions out of
Only.
4,100
Yeah.
regions. So, just to think, people think that I'm well balanced on wine and wine knowledge. I'm only scraping the surface. And I've only tried 105 grape varietals out of 2,200
Yeah.
grape varietals. And I've tried over 2,100 wines.
That's impressive.
I wouldn't tell too many people that. That might sound bad if without context.
I don't want to tell you how many styles I have because it's almost embarrassing. So
Like 70? Less?
Well, less than that. But okay, to be fair, I recently religiously started this, probably when we started the
Tracking,
podcast. So about what, a month, two ago? So I only have 22 styles. I'll be honest with y'all, right? Full transparency. But yeah, I mean, it's basically what we did on the podcast, what we're tasting with Bo, sometimes at his wine shop and those types of things. But and just stuff that we try here. But I need to get and venture out a little bit more. We did a lot of Napa.
We do, and we're doing a lot
We
of
did
Bordeaux.
a lot of Bordeaux.
We're starting to get into Burgundy, which is
It's a hard conversion for Chase, guys. He's still coming around.
I like the Burgundy.
He's still coming around to the idea.
I feel like you're
love
more.
it.
I'm scared of my wallet.
I feel like you're
I
more
think
white
we
Burgundy.
all are.
I
at
do
this
like
point.
the white Burgundies more
Red
than the
Burgundy,
red
I feel
Burgundies.
like it's a hard sell for you right now.
No, I enjoy
Or
them.
harder.
Oh gosh.
I enjoy them.
We gotta expose you to some. I need to expose you to Pomard.
Don't, because you exposed me to aged Bordeaux's, and now I'm like a fiend and can't stop.
Well, dude, the store selling this Pomard. We
Yeah.
just got in. I don't even have it on the shelf yet. We don't have it on the shelf yet.
But that's just like,
So I'm excited
to be able to try
see,
it.
but like when I was going through the
to see
auction,
what it's gonna be like.
Yeah.
I sent you a Redberg and a
Okay,
six
okay,
a
okay, okay.
6 bottle case of Whitebergs that I was looking at.
But that was Mags, huh?
It was a it was 6 mags that I was looking at of white Burgundy.
Now, the Redberg in question,
Was Volnay.
yeah, which you know what Volnay is to me. I like Volnay.
It was an 09 Volnay.
09, yeah. I just didn't know anything about the producer,
Yeah.
so I didn't
But
want to take a gamble.
it's not that
But
I'm opposed to it. It's just I need a professional to tell me the right things to try. Which he has so far. He's brought me
I agree.
when you tell me that we're drinking red Burgundy, I assume that it's at least 3 digits. He has brought me 2 bottles that have been under $40
Yeah,
that I really enjoyed. And again, that's because he may have gone through 60 wines to give me those 2.
Yeah. And
but it's vigorous testing.
searching.
But that's
Yes, but it has to be justifiable, not only for me or it's for everyone.
Mhm.
You know, there's some things that aren't justifiable sometimes.
Yeah.
But
So I like to find the people that I work for, they work to find things that are accessible
yeah.
Mhm.
and bargain based. You
Now,
know,
don't get me
good
wrong,
quality.
everybody still likes the $200, $300, $400, $500 bottles that are brought in.
Well,
But
of course,
But-
because
they're doing that for
experience something.
them.
Yeah.
But I remember whenever we really hadn't gotten to red Burgundy, and we told Bo, like, give me an entry level red Burgundy that I was like, I don't want to break my bank for because I want to make sure I like it, and I don't want to spend the money if I'm not.
Yeah, I don't want to
Really
spend
enjoying
$200 to not know
Well,
if I'm going to like a wine.
But that's huge to have that. Number one, we have
But
great
build-
access to
and
knowing
building
that
the
information.
trust.
But it's hard because if you don't, I mean, it's not every time you need to go to wherever you're shopping for wine and spend a ton of money just to be able to try these things. I think there's good producers that sometimes their price point is phenomenal.
Mhm.
I mean, I keep on going back to Bordeaux that I spent $35 on that was on a couple weeks or last week that I
Yeah.
love and I still drink to this day. Like I think we had it last night or the night before.
We had it 2 nights ago. Yeah.
But it's those types of things that whenever you find something like that and it's such a reasonable price point and it, you know, it doesn't make you feel terrible the next day, which is huge.
Yeah.
It's one of those things of like, this is a good wine and this is a good producer. And there's certain wines that you don't have to break the bank for. And I think that's huge to know too. It's, you know, you can get really nice things. There's some things for special occasions. There's things for just a random night. I think there's different things from all occasions, but I think there's also, whenever you're starting to explore, I think it's okay to go low and then kind of work your way up.
And that's kind of what I was getting at earlier about I think the mistake we made originally with trying wine was we were trying to just go pick bottles and we were wasting a lot of money on bottles that maybe we thought they were good because the price, like because they were a little bit more expensive or we'd heard the name before or something like that. But your local wine shop, and I'm not saying go to Total Wine or something like that because
Total Wine isn't a terrible place.
They're not. They have a lot of
But-
selection, but you need to know what you're looking for when you go
but
in
their
there.
sommelier might not be able to have the same knowledge
Well,
as someone
they
who's in
also
a
don't
smaller
have the
shop.
personal
Right.
knowledge
Well,
of
and-
you. That's why I'm saying
Oh,
go
yeah.
to your local place, the little place that has a professional, aka Bo, working behind the counter that you can talk to, and they can lead you in the right direction. Because the thing is, they've tried, like you said the other day,
Well-
you've tried probably 90% of the wines in the store, and
And the only things we can't taste are
the big
Yeah,
Yeah.
is the top shelf stuff.
Right.
The
But
$1,300 bottle
curated.
salon.
The people that-
like
but the thing is, at some point, I do get to try them.
yeah.
No matter how it may be.
Yeah, whether it's from a customer buying it and wanting to share with you, because we've
Or
done
whether
that.
it's the owners, they'll buy them too, so that we all have an understanding of what we're selling
Yeah.
and how to sell it correctly.
Right. Because how do you sell something you haven't tried? And that's the biggest thing. You know, at Total Wine, I
They
would be
can't
concerned
try
if they have tried
everything.
everything, because
can't.
that is, I
I
mean,
would be nervous.
some of those stores are more massive than others, right?
But don't get me wrong, that's not to say that that's a bad place to buy wine, because I
It's
bought wine
not.
from there
No.
2
It's
days
really
ago.
not.
That's what
But
I
you
was saying.
need to know what you're going in there looking for.
Yes.
At least something.
Or if you want to build consistency,
Yeah.
or, something like that, or if you want to come in and have more of an open mind,
Yeah.
I can work with you to show you things that are a bit different. Sancerre, I could show you Loire,
hmm
or I could show you Vouvray.
Hmm.
Those are
Speak
all
English.
I want to try a Sancerre, by the way, before we go to France, to see if I need to
man,
make a pit stop.
crisp acids,
Yeah.
like beautiful
A
structure.
typical Sauvignon Blanc.
Yes,
Great.
a very well executed expression of Sauvignon Blanc, and I don't drink it as much
Hmm.
as I do Chardonnay
Yeah.
because I drink a lot of Whitebergs.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's fair.
I-
I and I like Whitebergs too. I just want to.
Well, of course we all love Whitebergs.
That's fair.
That's
How can you go wrong?
That's the best expression of a Chardonnay.
I have a
Yeah.
quick question for y'all. That's in your opinion.
Yeah.
Your opinion. I have a quick question for y'all. Go back to the bear track and tell me if you're not getting a little bit of
I've been drinking them.
yeah, I'm getting a little mocha, maybe espresso.
I smell espresso.
I smell espresso. I don't know.
That's the Sullenger.
I know.
Okay.
Did
you get it?
I've been
I get
drinking on the
espresso
bear track.
more than a mocha. I get espresso.
Okay. I'm getting maybe it's a little bit of the coffee espresso mixed with a little hint of chocolate.
I mean, this,
Again,
I don't
it's
know.
for the
maybe-
listeners, this
maybe-
bottle has been open for 5 hours.
6.
So like,
Yeah, we're rolling.
We're
6.
getting to the turning point.
but that's the thing. It's so interesting if you pour a glass of wine and you have the opportunity to just kind of like sip on it, let it sit, keep the bottle open.
Be
Those
patient.
types of
The whole
things.
thing about wine is it's teaching
Be
me
patient.
patience.
Yeah.
Which is hard to do.
Yeah, you have trouble with
I
it.
mean, even when I experience bottles, doesn't matter if it's 83, 87, 95, 94, 96. We don't give it the time to open up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not gonna go over well in the comments.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that is just the way that the people that are letting me experience this bottle with them, that's how they want it done.
So you do it. Yeah.
Yes.
I-
And then they question me on top of that. And I'm like, okay, this is,
Yeah.
I'm really being put to the test.
Yeah.
That's why I always say whenever I don't really drink wine, I taste wine.
Yeah. And I feel like for at least young Napa cabs, it would be better
Young
if you can.
anything. We've
decanted.
learned young Bordeaux.
Yeah, but-
This is the same. It takes a while.
I agree. But I will let old sit if I can. But
No.
not always.
I'm talking about
But-
if you got a 22 Bordeaux and a 22 Napa, both of them need to sit.
Yeah.
Most.
Yeah.
Most. Some of them are made to open up.
I feel like every Napa cab,
Needs to sit.
needs to sit.
And I mean, that can be expedited
That's-
by aeration. If you have a little aerator, I mean, we have just a little bitty one. This is basically a spout that kind of helps aerate it, and pouring that into a glass can kind of
Or
speed that up
aerating into a
somewhat.
decanter or double decanting. Like
There's different
Yeah, you
ways to
can-
do it to
yeah,
speed it up.
there's a-
these were double decanted.
We should do an episode strictly on decanting styles.
Methods, yeah.
Because y'all know the way that I decant,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. Half a bottle.
Yeah, I do half bottle in the decanter, half bottle
Stays in the bottle.
in the true bottle, because that's where the sediment lies, then I take a glass out and I watch that glass evolve
Mhm.
over time.
Yeah.
So as my day progresses, most of the time I don't drink those big of wines unless I'm cooking a long meal,
Mhm.
because I'm carving out X amount of time to spin to create this whole thing. So now I'm going to do that same thing with the wine. And it's going to, in the end result, make a beautiful execution.
Yeah. But going into that, so that is an episode that we need to do. But speaking of episodes we need to do, we've got a pretty significant lineup waiting for everybody. Next week's going to be pretty sweet.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. We've got some listeners coming in for an episode to come enjoy with us. We've got some big hitters coming. We've got all the things. Oh, did it freeze?
I don't know when it did.
All right, guys, we're experiencing some technical difficulties right now, but we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this episode so we can get into that. But what we're getting at is pay attention to the next couple episodes that are coming out. I think y'all will be really surprised. Really enjoy
There'll be some
them.
treats.
There will be some treats. But for now, I think that's all we've got. I'm Chase.
I'm Kate.
And this is Bo.
And go try something you haven't tried before.
We'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.